Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, for this episode of Sonar Fishing, we're going to go over the tackle that I used to finish 41st in the first Bassmaster Open on Lake EUFAULA of the year. 41st out of 225. As far as points go, I consider that a very, very strong tournament. It is a bummer, like I said, that I'm first out of a check, but you know, there's only 40 spots that get paid. So, you know, even if you finish in the top 50 and you don't get a check, it's still a really solid event. And the whole idea behind fishing the Opens this year and being part of the EQ, the Elite Qualifier, is to make the Elite Series. So to finish in the top 9, I'm going to need somewhere around that 50 place average finish. And so 41st puts us right where we want to be. But anyways, in this event, number one, man, it sucks because I'm not going to have a whole lot of footage for you guys to see from the week. I did end up doing one video where I'm showing everybody how to flip and pitch the edge of grass and ended up landing a giant in practice, the first day of practice. So I'll post that video, so keep an eye out for that. That one's a really cool one, just seeing, you know, how I break down grass lines and things like that with flipping techniques. And also catch a big fish there. So that was pretty fun. But other than that, I think I've got like one clip before my GoPro ended up dying the second day where I caught a fish on camera with the GoPro because for some reason the GoPro I was using, I don't know what it is. It could be overheating. You know, I tried it with the battery, without the battery, tried it, you know, tried formatting the card. I tried everything I knew, but unfortunately it just stopped working around the first 30 minutes of each day. But anyways, guys, so I'm not going to have like a real tournament, a breakdown video because of that. But I do want to talk about the tackle that I used to catch my fish. So my whole idea after practice was, number one, you know, practice was pretty decent, you know, earlier in the week. But as the week progressed, I mean, which is pretty standard in the Opens with such a large field and long practice, the bite was changing constantly. And so by the time practice ended, I really only had 2 areas that I had any confidence in for a consistent bite. And so all my offshore stuff ended up kind of waning and disappearing. All the other things I just didn't feel like were stable enough with the changing conditions and the fish moving up to spawn. And so I wanted to keep things simple. And I had an area right there in Kowicki Creek, right there by the launch, that I had confidence in. I had caught them in the Pro Circuit the last time we were there. And it's doing what I love to do, which is flipping, pitching, shallow water power fishing in general. And so I decided to triple down on that. It's pretty much all I had. Now I could go out and go experiment and hope to you know, bump into something, but I figured that maximizing my time in that creek by the launch ramp with my history there and as many bites as I did get in the creek in practice, I figured that would be my best chance at doing well in this tournament. And I think I made the right move because, you know, despite the fact that I didn't end up making a check, I had an opportunity to make a really good check. You know, the second day I didn't end up you know, culling out a fish that weighed a pound, 14 ounces, which is a pretty small fish, and lost one that was like 6 to 7 pounds. It was a true beast. So we had our opportunities and we made the best of what we had. And so essentially what I was doing in the back of this creek is in practice, I caught them I got bit by pitching to the little pockets in the grass. So anytime that the grass line had a little pocket that would dip in towards the shoreline and there would be suitable bottom composition and depth for those fish to spawn in that pocket, that was the type of thing that I was focusing on. Again, I'm going to be throwing out that video that shows me catching that like 7-pounder the first day of practice, kind of breaking down how I would fish a grass edge like that. But so to start the tournament, my whole plan was to just flip and pitch the entire time. So I picked up this rig right here. Now this isn't obviously a very heavy flipping rig. This is about a 3/8 ounce weight there, pegged. You see the little a bobber stop I've got there, and then I've got a little Fitzgerald flipping bead there, and then I was just pitching the palmetto bugs around. So the Z-Man palmetto bugs. This is the Bama bug color. This one right here is a really killer color. I've caught a lot of fish on it. And even the last time I was here at EUFAULA, this was the color that I used to catch all my fish when I was flipping. And we've got the Hayabusa 959 hook on there. That's 4/0. We were flipping 60 pound or 65 pound CR Smackdown. And we were fishing this on a 7:2-to-1 gear ratio VLD10 and a 7.6 heavy action all-purpose series rod. So that is my flipping setup, and I was essentially just flipping to the pockets, more open water type situation, not like punching in the grass. And that was because I was really targeting fish that were on the bed, that were just bedding on the edge of the grass. So that was kind of like how I started the tournament day on day one. But then we started having some weather changes. We had a front that was moving through, and of course that was preceding a huge storm cell that came through on day two, which meant that they had to cancel day two because of the heavy winds. But the leading edge of that front was very windy, and I figured that the bite was probably going to pick up, and I could start going from a more methodical, slow presentation like the flipping and pitching with the palmetto bugs, and switch over to a more reaction bite that'll allow me to cover more water. And so I switched over to a chatterbait and ended up, I had 2 fish with the flipping rig that I ended up weighing, and all the 3 other fish that I weighed the first day came on this chatterbait right here. This is the 1/2 ounce dirty white color jackhammer. This is a new color from Z-Man that just recently came out last iCast, and this one's really good. It was really good for that kind of like dirtier water. I was really trying to figure out whether I wanted to throw shad patterns or bluegill patterns. Usually in lakes that get down towards Florida, I like to focus more on bluegill patterns, but white seemed to work really good this week. So I stuck with the dirty white, and we've got the pearl colored razor shads on the back. I was fishing this on 20-pound test red label fluorocarbon, my usual 7.3 medium heavy Versa series rod, and the 7.2-to-1 gear ratio VLD10. As soon as I started feeling that wind pick up, and that wind was really starting to blow on some of my favorite stretches and by the way, it was like gator vine and hyacinth was kind of the mix. And then you had that like completely useless, what I call sod grass, or like lawn grass. My co-angler on day 2 called it long grass, but it's like, it looks like fescue, and it grows so thick that you can't really punch through it. It's like impenetrable. But on the edges of that, you would have the gator grass, the gator vine, and the hyacinth. So it still was good. It still has plenty of cover for the fish. It's just hard to fish. But I was able to run those edges with the chatterbait. And this was really important for this tournament because it allowed me to put the motor guide on high and cover a lot of water within the creek, and to expand upon the stretches that were really hot at that time, because there's a lot of dead water back there, especially with all the pressure. There's a lot of stretches that just did not have fish. And when I'd find a fish or catch a fish on a stretch, there would be another one, if I came back later. So it seemed like all the stretches that I caught them, I could go back time after time and catch them. And that chatterbait really helped me find more of those stretches that first day. All right, so the second day, obviously, we had a cancellation. The wind was just too high, and which was a good move on Bassmaster's, part. They made the right choice canceling that day. It was very, very dangerous, but it gave my area a rest. And but the biggest thing was the third day, technically the second day that we're fishing, but the third day of the official tournament, it was flat calm, no wind, bright sunny skies, so completely different conditions. So I first went out there on day 2 with the intention to run 2 stretches with the chatterbait real quick, just to see if I could get a morning bite with it. I did end up catching some fish on the chatterbait, including one I did weigh first thing. But then very soon after, instead of pitching the edges of the grass like I was intending to the first day, I wanted to get into that heavy, those heavy grass mats that had the gator vine and the hyacinth, and really dive in after those fish. That was kind of the way that I was gonna combat my own pressure and the pressure of the other anglers that were fishing in the area, is just fish it a different way. So I ended up picking up the big rig here. All right, so we got 1.5 ounce tungsten Fitzgerald weight, still at the WRM 959 hook, 4/0, the same palmetto bugs. One thing that I did with the palmetto bugs is I made sure I put a little bit of super glue on the eye of the hook. That way I could, fish more efficiently, and it's not constantly sliding down, going through that heavy cover. If you guys have punched with Elastec, that's pretty much the biggest challenge that you have with that material, because it's just so soft and it will pull down the shank of the hook. But putting that super glue there solves all that. And then you've got a bait that you can fish pretty much all day because it's so durable. But we're fishing the same line, Seaguar Smackdown, Stealth Gray, 65-pound braid, and we've got the 7.2-to-1 gear ratio VLD10. But the big change was I switched to the Titan HD. This is the 7/8 heavy version, and this is a great punching rod. And I was kind of wore out by the end of the day, and I promise you, if I had a well-balanced rod than this, I would have been way more wore out, because I did this for like 6 or 7 straight hours. And we ended up catching our fish very, very early with this technique. Like right off the bat, I caught my biggest one of the day. And then by 10 o'clock, I had all my weight pretty much. And I thought it was going to be a great day, because at that point I had just lost one that was like 6 or 7 pounds. I'm like, man, I've got almost 15 pounds, and I'm like, we are going to crush them today, because if we have what we have right now, I'm talking to my co-angler, of course. I'm just like, we are going to catch some more good quality fish. We're going to have some more opportunities. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I think what ended up happening is, because it was such a calm, sunny day, those fish went from, pre-spawn to spawn. They started locking onto the beds. And so I went 5 hours without a single punching bite. So the only explanation I could have for that is that I know we were fishing the right stretches, because I was hitting all the stretches where I'd got bit in the morning, and then some of the other stretches that looked great for what we were doing, and we just weren't getting bit at all, even from small fish. So I think that switch was really due to fish moving onto the bed. But anyways, guys, that is how I fished the entire tournament. I really have no regrets on this event. The only regret I might have had is maybe not spending more time offshore and finding something like that. But honestly, not every tournament is going to be a tournament where you're going to have a chance at a top 10. And after practice, I was like, man, this is not coming easy. So I need to really focus on the things that I know how to do supremely well. And that's what I did. I went out there, flip pitched, and just broke down an area of shallow water power fishing. And so that's how we ended up having a fairly good tournament. So great start to the season, and it was a lot of fun just kind of rolling with the changing conditions, and I feel like I made really good decisions. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And before we close this out, I just want to say, thank you for watching this video and for all the support during this first Bassmaster Open. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're looking for ways to support this channel, there's a few ways that you can support Sonar Fishing. And that is number one. If you like the content, hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel and you'll get to see all the content that I'm producing as I produce it. So that's a great way to support the channel, but also asking questions. Using that comment section to ask questions that you want me to do a video on is a great way for me to come up with content ideas for the channel. So it's not only a great way for me to make content, but it's a great way for you to get a custom answer from an angler like myself. So make sure that you ask all those questions in the comment section below. And also, if you are interested in buying any of the tackle that I talked about today or in any of my videos, I'm going to be putting affiliate links to going to 44tackle.com for these products. And if you use those links, it helps support the channel and you get 10% off of your order. So anyways, guys, those are some great ways to be able to support the channel. But in general, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. The channel is growing and I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to see you out on the water.